here to tell you about two great experiences I've had in my life. And I started going to church, and I got friends with the pastor and everything, and she was planning a trip to Africa. And I said, yeah, I'll go. I'd never been on a plane. So this was my first experience to ever go on an airplane in my whole life. So we went from Calgary to Lilongwe, and it was 24 hours on the plane, and it was fantastic. I was just overwhelmed with the idea of being on a plane and going to Africa and meeting different people and helping people with their church and just having a little bit of influence. And so we took toys and we took everything that we could think of that we thought that the kids would get fun out of. And we took coffee filters and everything. So when we went to the little villages, we took all this stuff and we did little crafts and everything with the kids, and they were fantastic. So that was one experience that I will never forget as long as I live. Just touching them little kids and them coming and touching you, and it's made such an impact on my life of how we take everything we have for granted. And you go to those countries and kids, we had water bottles, and kids seen us with the water bottles and they wanted the water bottles because this was the only way that they could go to school and get water from school to take home to their families, because a lot of the villages didn't have wells or anything like that. So the kids, they'd try everything so they could get water home to the villages and everything. So that was okay, and it was just heartwarming to have these kids and everything. And yeah, but in the meantime, since we were there, we couldn't understand a lot of the village people and everything. So there was this young man, he was in his 20s, and he was our interpreter. His name was Addy. I can't remember his long name, but we just called him Addy. And he could understand broken English very well and everything, but he went everywhere with us in Lilongwe. He went to out to the grocery store, out to restaurants, so he could interpret it and tell us what everybody was saying or what we were seeing. And so, being a person of older stature there, they really pay homage to people with older people, because they really respect their elders there. And you will notice that in the villages and everything, their elders are put up on a pedestal and everything. It's just very heartwarming to see how they treat and they respect the elders. So as being older and everything, Addie become my friend. And every time I go to do something or stand or whatever, he'd be, oh, come on, mama. And, I thought, oh, well, he's just doing this because he's polite. So that was fine. And all the time we were there, he was helping me. Come on, mama, come on. So that was fine. And so time went on, and we were there for 14 days. And Addie was always around. And so I never thought of it. We finished off, and towards the end we had bought Bibles for the community, and we had also planned on doing wells, setting up wells there. And the one fellow that we went with, he come back to when we come back to Canada, he got a hold of quite a few ranchers. And through our church, we set up 4 wells in different areas in Africa. And so a lot of these villages we went to, they now have water, that whether they have a pump or they bring a big barrel in with a tractor. They get a tractor and they pull it into their community, and they can have fresh water. Instead of going down to the river where it is dirty water, they now have fresh water. We're planning on trying to get 9 wells in Lilongwe. But right now, with everything going on, 4 made a big difference, like in their lives, in the kids' lives and everything, because, well, we know ourselves that water is very essential, and it just made a difference. And so that was one thing that we accomplished. But back to my story about Addie. Addie and I become friends. So when I was leaving, Addie come to the airport when I was leaving, and I didn't know, and I'm standing there and everybody's looking at me and saying, like looking and saying, oh, there's somebody back there. And I never noticed, and all of a sudden here this young fellow comes. He had to walk from his village to get a ride and then come into the airport to see me. And he kind of snuck up behind me and here he's standing and he goes, well, I just couldn't let you go without saying goodbye. He said, I know I said goodbye yesterday, but he said I had to come and say goodbye to my mom. And I just become a battling idiot then, because I couldn't say nothing, because he was just, just filled my heart. Anyway, since then we've kept in touch, and it's been over 5 years that Daddy and I have been keeping in touch. He now calls me Mom, and my husband is called Dad. We text back and forth. He has completed his time to become a minister. He's in Thailand right now. And he has promised me that when he gets finished and this COVID is over, that he is going to come and spend time with me. I've met his family, his mom, his brothers, when we were in Lilongwe, and he is just a wonderful young man. But the point of saying this, I've never had children. And I did my testimony in the church when I come back. And I said, this is like a miracle has happened, because I never had children. And here I had to travel across the world and find this young man that has filled this spot in my heart where I thought I'd never be a mom or hear anybody say that you are my mom. So he has filled that hole in my heart, and I mean, it's just a blessing in disguise that he has filled that space that I've always wanted to fill, and he is just an apple of my eye. I keep telling him he looks like his mom and everything, but he is just a wonderful young man, and I hope someday that he will be able to come to Canada and see what wonderful people we have in Canada, and see that he, being of a different race and ethnic, it is wonderful. Like, color doesn't mean anything. It's what we have inside, and he has a heart of gold, and I wish someday that he will be here. So I have to give thanks to my pastor for letting me go to Africa and having such an experience of meeting a young fellow to fill my heart and to have an airplane ride, because I don't think I'll ever have a long airplane ride like that again. So I just want you to know of them two experiences, that they have impacted me immensely, and I just can't say any more about it. That I'm very grateful sharing my little story to everyone and everything. So thank you.